What up, random rockers? Now it's time for February catch up for some of the albums I got to listen to that I didn't do solo reviews for in February of 2024. The album here we're starting with is Sleepytime guerrilla music of The Last Human Being. Apparently, they're a band that was around in the 2000s that's considered, according to Wikipedia, as both experimental rock, progressive rock, and its more metal counterparts. I say they could probably also be considered kind of art rock. Um, and yeah. Okay, so for some of you who have the audacity for those of you who are aware of some of the YouTuber reviewers I follow, those who know of Crash Thompson and seeing his best of year and worst of year list, I do not agree with him putting that in his worst of the year. But I get his complaints of people, of Vegetable Soul fans, telling him that it wasn't like was too challenging for him when it wasn't. Mr. Bungle is more challenging, and hell, I dare if you thought that for some reason was challenging, I dare you to listen to this. I dare you, because you don't know shit. Because this fucking thing, holy fucking shit. This album here, from Sleepytime Guerrilla Music, is all over the place. I mean, Salamander, starts off, with names like Salamander in Two Worlds, Fanfare for the Last Human Being. To me, one of my favorites is El Evil, which that one has some nice little metallic guitars going on. And they use so many different instruments, some that you wouldn't believe are actual instruments, especially when you look at them. And of course, one of the tracks, Bells of Kith and Kin, the bells portion of this track, yeah, it really lives up to it. Like anything you can think of as a bell, including chimes, is like the ones you're probably hearing outside. It goes some places, man. It goes some places. Very minimalistic, I'd say, and post-minimalistic in nature of its particular style of avant-garde, of experimental rock, progressive rock, art metal, if you will. Um, like the track that's kind of one of the creepier ones that is fascinating and in a weird fucked up way to me is We Must Know More, because it's more about the last human being that lives and everyone else seems to have basically be like anthropomorphic, I guess, creatures from thematically speaking with this. I don't know where that whole thing with the ending of Rose Colored Song being a weird outro, I guess. Old Gray Heroin makes more sense, as I guess Burn Into Light is crazy. Silverfish is interesting. SPQR, I don't know what that means, but that was interesting as well. But yeah, overall this thing is quite crazy in and of itself. Next up we have Hammerhead, spelled H-E-D-D, that last part. And the Not Important. Apparently, I found out this band was apparently started as apparently a progressive thrash act that started off more as a thrash act. That's cover of For Who the Bell Tolls that they did. Like they were 16 at the time. I think they're like in their late teens at this point of this record. But they're all brothers. and they did their cover of like For Who the Belt was got like Metallica, got even notice from Metallica or whatever. Their video they did on that, a live performance of some sort. And this is one of their original material albums, and yeah, it's fine. I liked it, I guess. I just don't feel like coming back to it a whole lot. Especially not compared to the last record I talked about, but I enjoyed it. I mean, it's a good point of curiosity, and I feel like I've listened to some better prog this year, but it's not bad. Like, it's a good point of curiosity. You can check it out if you want, but don't really have much to say about it, honestly. From first listen to this, on the other hand, from Life Cycles, Portal of the Unknown. For those of you who know of one of my best of the year stuff with Enforced, if you liked that, you're gonna like this and wish there was a full length of this. Holy crap! It's a similar deafened, like crossover style, or like punk death thrash, I guess, kind of a thing. Basically, crossover thrash, but the thrash elements seem to be more death thrash, that hybrid that kind of was that weird middle ground where thrash acts were trying to experiment and lean into death metal territory, but never fully committed to death metal yet. Kind of a sound. Yeah, they go for that as well, and they pull it off really well. And what I like from Enforced, these guys are doing, and it's pretty much going to definitely be pretty much in my higher echelon of albums this year for sure. Will Carlisle, Critterland. Found out about this through Spectrum Pulse. I listened to this thing, and I believe the first two tracks that bookend this record, the opening title track and the closer, The Money Grows on Trees, are very interesting tracks. There is a song in the middle that I forgot the name of off the top of my head, but yeah, this is not bad for alternative country, I've heard. But my problem is I'm spoiled from last year's country, honestly, that I was listening to. But this is nice. This is really nice and interesting. A different voice in country, that's interesting. Yeah. I still kind of want to come back to it every so often, but not nearly as much as some of the stuff from 2023. We'll get to another album that I was like, but it was definitely more interesting. Even the album cover is kind of adorable, adorably kind of cute. Like, look at that. It's kind of funny how that is. Anyway, Eternal Storm, A Giant Bound to Fall. This is I think and I believe this album is essentially a blackened melodic death metal, I think, or like a progressive form of it, or at least it's actually no. Actually, now that I think about it, this band consists of the current singer that is now in Persephone. This was his band, his other band, and you can kind of hear some similarities. Though for some reason, I feel like the production on that Ignota EP is a little bit better than this. But for what the music is here, it's really, really pretty solid progressive melody for sure. Maybe with some blackened touches here and there. I hope you all enjoy this and give this album a shot for sure. Definitely worth your time as well. If you liked what I said about Persephone when I did that review, I think you'll like this just as well. So give that a shot for sure. I'd definitely put that up there. The Obsessed, Gilded Sorrow. Apparently they're one of the early Doom bands, particularly ones that lean in towards stoner Doom. I do get some like Crowbar-y vibes from this band. It's fine. Didn't get a chance to really go back to it as much, and I might need to like give it some time, but I mean, it's not going to be as good as what I heard from someone's even last year's stuff. Though I already heard something better from Lord Dying or Dying Lord, or anyway, I'll remember that name later. Moving on to this. Now, I was convinced this is the band Casey How to Disappear is the album, and I was told this is a combination of Chevelle, Thrice, and I'm thinking of the post-rock band. I can't do that from Texas. I can't. Why is it my blanking? They're a big name deal. It's not. It's not Godspeed You Black Emperor. It was. What did you compare it to? But they had an album last year. Let's put it that way. This is gonna blank on me. But anyways, I would say that band that was mentioned, that was the post-rock band, is definitely here. I hear Thrice more in the growls. Chevelle, I mean, I try to come to think of it. I'm trying to think of what exact band that I listened to last year, post-hardcore wise, that this also reminded me of. But I like what I hear. That's what lured me in. I do like what I hear very much. So it's definitely a very post-rock driven, post-hardcore style for sure, and not in a bad way at all. Maybe Night Versus, but not really Night Versus, because that's more alternative prog metal, really. But yeah, this is surprisingly really really good. Definitely one of the more rock lenient stuff I'll definitely want to go back to, for sure. And yeah, I'll definitely make my honorable, if not honorable, mentions. Blackberry Smoke, Be Right Here. I've been wanting to get in this band because I've heard things about this group for a while. This particular country band. I think this is pretty solid, but for sure, no question, but kind of good. I might like it more than the Stapleton album, but even so, everything else that came out 2023, again, I have to bring that up because it was that good of a year for country, despite what certain moments on the charts would tell you, but at least for Billboard. But yeah, if you were actually looking for good country, you could find it in 2023. And I don't know if we're gonna get that out of 2024. At least I don't think we're gonna get this out of this band. You might the Willie Carlisle, I guess, but this is good. It's pretty good, like country rock for sure. Like sort of borders southern rock, but not quite in the ways I'm hearing their previous run of albums in the 2010 mid 2010s was apparently. Which I guess I just need to check that out. So, and anyone fan of Blackberry Smoke, what albums should I go from here with? Would be nice, so I know what's better than this actually. Which I still liked what this is, but yeah, it's. I think it was the title. It might have been the title track, but I'm trying to remember which song it was that I liked. But overall, it's solid. It's good, but I just wished it was great or masterclass. You know what I mean? Okay, this one's a bit of an asterisk. This is Duck by the Aristocrats. I basically have been trying to have it ever since hearing Regret Number 9 from Stephen Wilson's Hand Cannot Erase. I've been looking for an excuse to listen to Guthrie Govan. They finally gave me one. But there's just one problem. I only know the first three tracks that were released as singles for this project, and I think like the bassist was in this band as a sort of a super group, if you will, in a prog metal prog rock super group, instrumental rock kind of thing style, and this is supposed to be based on this character that was supposed to be some weird thing where they basically must have been smoking some shit. And we're like, what if we did like this thing with a character Duck, and this was like his adventures and shit. And I love how the artwork here kind of reminds me of fucking DuckTales and Darkwing Duck and all that. So, which was kind of cool. I love that choice of artistry, for sure, on this record. But it's mostly instrumental, and I've been wanting a chance to since his great solo in Regret Number 9. And I never got a chance, like, release something newer before I could, like, deep dive into this stuff. And fortunately, the asterisk is because I only know 3 songs because they put up a paywall on this thing where you can only get it, you only can get the full album by basically buying it through Bandcamp and Amazon Music. Because I tried to look through streaming and nothing. Nothing. I get the band wants to. I'm not saying the band shouldn't, find a way to do music, all that stuff. I mean, if you didn't want to put it on Spotify, I'm not going to blame you, but because since they're more money grubbing compared to what I go to with YouTube Music, but for streaming service, but I mean, good on you for trying to do what you do. But if you wanted me to be able to talk about this thing, paywall didn't help. I'm not a channel that's able to make revenue. So therefore, I'm not able to make the money needed to buy your album, unfortunately, to be able to properly listen to it. And I wish eventually it'll come out on streaming and maybe I can give a proper thing. So I'm going to have to put an asterisk on this one for now. Maybe I'll revisit and talk about it later. Who knows? But until then, this is just a bit of an asterisk that I want to recommend this, but I can't fully do so yet. So, it is what it is. But, anyways. This leads us to Echoes of Light by Chapel of Disease. When I heard about this through John Barbas of the Metal Philosophy channel and writer for Metal Digest, he wound up putting this as number 1 for the week it came out, and I forgot which week it was in February, but yeah. Yeah, apparently you paired it like Blue Oyster Cult but with Death Growls. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot, I guess. Since most people say Blue Oyster Cult's essentially, at least in the earlier days, before like Burning for You and stuff like that, or at least before the turn of the 80s, they were more like essentially an American Black Sabbath. If Godzilla and Don't Fear the Reaper didn't kind of make that clear. And yeah, they were more of a progressive death metal band. With this, I feel like I'm getting a progressive death and roll, if you will, I guess. Just kind of cool, honestly. I think that genuinely. There's some other modern metal flourishes, death metal flourishes here and there, but for the most part, it's more growl. There's some cleans here and there, though, but for the most part, I get a very progressive death and roll kind of vibe to it, And I like it very much for that, It's, yeah. You know what? Light hordes up. Spectral Voice. Spragless. This is a death doom band, and you can definitely tell it is, because there are some doomy, just droning styles, but like HM2 driven kind of doom, and then it just has its pummeling HM2 chainsaw thing going on. This is wow. This is a bit of a dark record, and it's just you got to be in a certain mood for it. Usually Doom does that in general, but Death Doom is just a certain breed of like, depending on your Death Doom. In the case of this, it's very wow, like the fuck did I just listen to kind of thing. And that's kind of what happened here. And if the album cover didn't make that already clear, yeah. Yeah, I understand if it's a possible nightmare fuel for people, but damn, is the music not for Death Doom like freaking good, Just, or else I wouldn't have bothered to recommend it, Just, I guess if you like Death Doom, or wanted like something to pound your soul into the ground, This. This very much. And then moving on to Borknagar Fall. They're a band that was part of the second wave of black metal that eventually evolved into progressive black metal, leaning towards symphonic black metal, I guess, somewhat melodic. In fact, they actually do require a lot of cleans. In fact, there's a lot more clean singing on here than I think maybe what some people would say about their previous records. In fact, for those of you who've seen my review of Eson Self-Titled, I would say if you need a start into, if you're like, a pleb or noob in black metal, and you need something to ease yourself in a little bit in a not so bad kind of way, to understanding what black metal is, but also having something that kind of has this certain bright chippery tone to it in the more symphonic and progressive metal contexts. This album will actually do that for you. I would say start with this record and then go to the Eson record. For sure. It's pretty damn good. I don't know if I like this. I think I like the Eson record more personally, but I do like this record as well, and it does deserve what hype it does get for what this band's accomplished over its many years, apparently. And then finally, I believe, we have a band called Profiler. Their album, A Digital Nowhere, this is their debut. They are essentially very much a new metalcore style, a new metal band that leans into modern metalcore. Has some JT moments here and there, but not quite full on progressive metalcore per se. Just like the new metal elements are very heavily noticed, including the disc jockey scratching stuff. J scratches and all that stuff. I get Linkin Park meets Deftones vibes, like the good new metal. Like if you're gonna have the disc scratching stuff, you want to be more compared to Mr. Hahn, not dude from Limp Bizkit. Even though there's some moments that make me think that, but not too much so that makes me wince or anything. It makes me really feel a little more like this is nostalgia done right, and with also a sense of purpose, because apparently there's certain particular science to this particular record, and I believe they're from the UK or something. Yeah, I'm fine. Like, for those of you who want a good combination of new metal and metalcore done correctly, and not your Attilas, your Keenan 10s, or your Amurs. Like, you don't want the trash Corey bullshit. You want the good shit. And I'm here to tell you, this is the good shit. This is the good shit. Like, seriously, if you are into Linkin Park and Deftones, I know there's a lot of the Deftones influence happening in a lot of the more jaunty, progressive-y metalcore stuff happening lately, especially including your Spirit Box and whatnot, your Loathe, for example, and then I think briefly in a certain band that's coming up with a new record did for a little bit. I don't think they stuck with it for very long, but anyways. But this is definitely way more new metal, and in all the right kinds of ways, like I don't feel like this is better than what Gideon tried to do on their last record, where they basically kind of pulled some Limp Bizkit shit. So it just was not gonna work in their case with the metalcore, and it just kind of felt This isn't that. This is so much better than that. And I feel like it's way more tasteful, way more tasteful. And I think you all should give it a shot and check it out. Like, for sure. Like, I'm actually considering... I'm considering a pretty strong horns up. I don't know if I should give it masterclass though. I put an asterisk on that masterclass, but yeah, dudes, you gotta give Profiler a shot, dude. You gotta give this Profiler record a shot. Like, it's actually pretty tasty new metal. Like if you love that stuff, you will like this. Or at least the stuff that was worth putting on the radio, like your Deftones and your Linkin Parks. This, or at least this is done even better than whatever that band was that's been compared to Linkin Park. Honestly, this actually does it tastefully. Like I'm actually thinking of like Hybrid Theory era stuff and meets Around the Fur. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Type of stuff with some more metalcore flourishes. It's really, even if the metalcore stuff could technically be considered sort of leaning towards octane core ish a little bit, but yeah, like even looking into the concept, you know that at least lyrically there's a lot more going on. It's not just edgelord bullshit, so that helps as well. So, but what did you guys think of all these records? Leave a comment below, let me know. Hell, I'd really like to know if anyone liked the new Aristocrats record for sure, since I've been trying to figure out a way to listen to that thing. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed these albums, and yeah. But that's it for now, guys. And then I believe, at the very least, I can promise for sure, I will be talking about Judas Priest next week. A new album, Invincible Shield. For sure. I already finished, and eventually I will probably also post a ranking of all the albums, probably including Invincible Shield. Though I'm with at least some at some point within the week, I want to be able to have it figured out before I post the review, so I can have the link in the description. We'll see what happens with that. And if not, I'll probably put it in the comments. Pin it in the comments or something. Who knows? But as always, if that's it, guys, what did you think of all these albums? Does any of them fascinate you? Hopefully this Profiler one definitely does for some of you that are a little bit more normie types, I guess you could say, that basically grew up to new metal like I did before I went into more extreme territories. But yeah, leave a comment below. What'd you think? Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of these albums. Hit the subscribe button. Click the notification bell to get all notified of all things that we're listening to here. And as always, guys, keep it random. Keep it real. Keep it rocking. I'll see you in the next video, whatever that may be. And take care, y'all.